I'm Lowell Thomas. And for a moment, I want to do something that perhaps is a little different. And I hope you'll take that literally. All my life, I've been interested in the unusual, the different. Different places, unusual people, unusual objects. And what is wrong with that? After all, there can be only one Dalai Lama, one Lawrence of Arabia, one Count Luckner the Sea Devil in World War I, one Doolittle, one Lindbergh. Unique? Ah, but that is what has made them newsworthy. And most of my life has been spent in search of the newsworthy all over the world. And in the past 20-odd years, I have seen many changes in the world of radio. As you undoubtedly know, there are now some 5,500 radio stations in the United States, AM and FM, and the chances are that you have heard the sales talks from literally hundreds of them, and you may have discovered that those sales talks are discouragingly similar. But there is one that is unlike any other station anywhere. I happen to know a little about radio stations, having been on the air for more than 35 years, and on this unique station for more than 20 years. And the name of that station, WJR Detroit. This is Detroit, 12th largest city in the world. Its river is part of the St. Lawrence Seaway. The river brings coal and iron ore to Detroit's mills and factories. And today those mills and factories are producing at an all-time high, giving Detroit an unprecedented prosperity. 3 miles from the river in downtown Detroit stands the Fisher Building, headquarters for WJR, the radio station that is one of a kind. And here is one of Detroit's best-known entertainers to tell you about it, Mr. J.P. McCarthy.
This is J.P. McCarthy. Have a nice evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning at this same time. Good night, everybody. I work here being the 21st floor of the Fisher Building and the location for the main studios of WJR in Detroit. You know, there are lots of interesting ways to look at Detroit. If you're interested in sales, for example, you can look at it as the nation's 5th richest market. Not a bad place to run a radio station, right? Now, not just an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill radio station, mind you, but a radio station with a unique point of view in terms of programming. Now, what makes WJR unique? Lots of things, really, but most importantly, our unique method of programming, with something for everyone every single day. Why don't we let some of our own people tell you their own story, the way they do every day? For baseball fans, WJR has veteran sportscaster Ernie Harwell.
So, what does it take to be a real good pinch hitter, Al?
Well, it's got to be a fellow that doesn't strike out too much. He'll strike out once in a while, but it's got to be a fellow that can get a piece of the ball, and if he can be a fellow that can hit a long fly ball, that much the better. Keep the ball from the ground. Keep hitting the double plays.
What's the toughest part of strategy in running the ball game?
I think personally is handling your pitching staff and handling your personnel.
Harwell's pregame interviews with important people in baseball, like Al Lopez, the former great manager of the Chicago White Sox, provide an interesting backdrop to the game itself. Ernie's play-by-play of all Tiger games is vivid and knowledgeable.
The Tigers have managed only 4 hits off Johnny Bazard. Norman Cash coming to bat now, trailing 1-0 in the 6th inning with nobody on base and 1 man down for Detroit. Bazard about ready to go. Cash steps in. Here's the windup by Johnny. The pitch, it's right in there for a strike called on Norman Cash. Now Cash steps out a moment, back into the batter's box. Bazard looks in to get his sign. Here's the windup, the pitch. There's a long drive to deep right. It's out of here. A home run by Norman Cash. And the Tigers have tied the game at 1-1 here in the 6th inning.
Storyteller Bud Guest, the secretary of the Sunny Side of the Street Club, and announcer Charlie Park.
You remember the big problem? The big problems, certainly. We have big problems every morning, Monday through Saturday.
Well, the one that I was referring to was the one we mentioned just the other day about which way the water goes down the bathtub drain.
Oh, that's colossal. That's...
North and south of the equator. Does she go down clockwise, north of the equator, or counterclockwise, or vice versa? At any rate, Ray D.O. Dialer, who started the whole mess, is back in with us again. He says since we talked about it the other morning, he tried the bathroom tub 20 times. And then to make sure, he tried the kitchen sink 20 times. And this was during his noon hour. He writes to me, "Dear Bud, I had no time to eat my lunch the other day, but I found out that the water did drain out in a counterclockwise fashion every time." Now then, we have also heard from Mrs. Edward Durkee, a good member of the Sunnyside Club of long standing, who lives in Elk Rapids, Michigan. She writes to us that when she reheard our report the other morning, she turned on the left-hand faucet in the wash bowl, and the water ran out counterclockwise. But the water from the right-hand faucet ran out clockwise. So, what do you make of that, she says? Frankly, I don't know what to make of it. Do you, Charlie?
WJR has football, too, with the voice of sports director Bob Reynolds.
Long is the flanker, wide to the right. Max McGee is in fairly tight. Back goes Starr to throw again. Gets good protection. Throws a wobbly one. Rasmussen got it at the 36. Over to the sidelines to the 30. 25, 20, 15. Gets a great block. Touchdown! Wayne Walker drew a key block down to the 15-yard line to spring Rasmussen loose for the intercepted pass and the touchdown as he grabbed it at the 36-yard line. And it's a 36-yard touchdown run for Wayne Rasmussen on the intercepted pass of Bart Starr. Starr's arm was jarred just as he threw it, and it was a wobbly one up in the air like a wounded duck. And Rasmussen picked it off on the 36-yard line, got a great block on the 15 on the far side from Wayne Walker, and went in untouched for the touchdown.
Bob, I think they had planned a crisscross pass pattern there, and Fleming and McGee bumped into each other as they were going over the center, and that certainly helped Rasmussen's cross.
Count led by Ed Flanagan, the rookie from Purdue. Barr is the flanker wide to the left this time. Cogdill is split out a little bit to the right. Blum looking over the defense, fakes once, fakes twice, drops straight back in the hole, looks for somebody. He's going for the long ball. Got Terry Barr down there, and Terry's got it! Touchdown! Long bomb to Terry Barr. Terry picks it off at
The Detroit area is full of sports fanatics. Football, pro and college, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it. But there are also a lot of people here who like a very different